Ladies and gentlemen, one of my favorite in the game, I often say this when they talk about the pound for pound, they don't say his name enough, of course. And I want to make sure that they say it as much as possible. He's fighting this weekend in Connecticut at the Mohegan Sun against the one and only Ronald Ellis. The one and only David Benavidez is here, ladies and gentlemen. He's here.
Salute.
Come on, man.
Salute.
David.
And first of all, I just want to thank you guys for inviting me on the podcast, man. I really appreciate it. I'm a very big fan of Sway. Me and my family always watch Sway in the morning interviews. The freestyles he brings with all the new rappers and stuff. So, I'm very honored to be on here.
Oh, man. Wait, you sound like you got bars, man. You got a verse?
I wish. That's why I box.
That's why you box?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You ain't who did you grow up listening to? Like, who was your favorite rappers?
I grew up, listening to, Biggie, and Jay-Z. Right now it's a little bit, I feel like the music is a little bit different. So I have a little bit different playlist, but I listen rock, rap, everything to get my mind off of a hard day of training, you know what I mean? So I just try to keep the playlist, a little bit different.
Hey, on the day of the fight, David, who get you hyped up, man? Because I used to like to listen to Eminem, Lose Yourself, whenever I wanted to get hyped up to go do something. What do you listen to?
I like the song I listen to a lot is DMX, What's My Name? It just pumps you up. You put that track on, you in there, you're getting ready to knock somebody out. It just gives you everything you need to go in there and do what you got to do.
Come on, man. I like this dude, Horace. I like this guy, man.
Hey, who is El Bandera Rojo? Who's that?
It's just that was just a nickname my promoter gave to me when he signed me. There's just a lot of different names. You just want to stand out as a name. It basically just means that bad dude over there in red. That's just what it is.
He's a bad man, man. He's a bad man.
Thank you.
When I look,
go ahead.
Okay, now when I look at, one of my reasons why I like you, and I've been watching you for a long time. And I remember when you fought Anthony Durrell too, and you broke down to your knees after the fight and you just gave thanks. And something about that moment made me go, I like the way this dude fight. Like, I think you're an exciting fighter. You kind of, you got your own style about you. You move differently, but I wanted to find out about your story because the way you broke down made me feel like, man, this dude must have gone through some pain. And then I started researching your story.
Yeah.
Talk about your story, man. Your family.
So when I was coming up, basically, I started boxing just because of my older brother. I wanted to be like my older brother. So I started boxing at age 3, and I had been boxing my whole life, but I didn't really take that amateur boxing route. My brother was a declared amateur boxer, but I didn't really take boxing too serious back then. So, then my parents were divorced and my brother ended up signing with Top Rank and he went to Los Angeles. We're from Phoenix, Arizona. So, I decided to stay back with my mom and, I just decided to be a kid. I think I was like 12 years old. That was the only time in my life I didn't have to train. So I took about a year off and I almost gained like 120 pounds, something crazy like that, man. I went from 150 to 160 pounds, to 260 pounds.
Wow.
So one day I just looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, I don't even recognize myself no more. If I keep going, man, it's not going to be good for myself. And, I'm going to have a lot of health problems. So I just decided to go to California and to train with my dad just to strictly lose weight. And then when I started losing weight about age 14, I started sparring, world champion after world champion. And that's kind of how I got my my boxing experience in the ring. And then I turned professional at age 16. I started going up to the ranks, so beating guys. And then at 20, I fought for my first world title. And I won. I was the youngest ever in super middleweight history to win the super middleweight title. But then, when with success, a lot of money comes and a lot of problems comes too. At 20 years old, I don't think I was just ready to, be the champion, So I'd like about a year later, I got, I tested positive for drugs outside of the ring. And, I got suspended for my belt. No, yeah, they took the belt away and I got suspended. So, that just kind of just messed me up. I just had to take a step back and look at my career because at the time I was already like professional 6 years. And you go from making nothing, to making hundreds of thousands of dollars, man. So, it's easy to slip up. But then, I came back again, man. I dedicated myself, trained. And then that's when I fought Darrell, you know what I mean? And that's, you know, the guy had never been stopped. You know, he'd only had one loss. He was a veteran for like 14 years. And me, I was 22 years old. So, you know, that was the biggest victory in my career up to that point. You know, I stopped him, you know, and nobody thought I could stop him. And then I kind of just broke down because, you know, it was a year before that or 2 years before that, my uncle had got killed, you know, 2 weeks before my first title fight. My brother had got shot, you know, I think a year after I won the belt. So, I mean, it was just like a lot of ups and downs, man, in my life and in my career. And then to that point, man, I just got on my knees and I was just like, you know, I'm just very thankful for everything that's came my way and everything I worked for. So right now for me, honestly, it's God first, boxing second, then family third, you know what I mean? Because boxing makes everything possible for me. God is first, but boxing makes everything else possible for me. And then after that is for my family, you know? So, I mean, I'm just very grateful and blessed with the way my career has gone and life is treating me so far.
Man, you know what? Thank you for that honesty, bro, because what happens with fame, nobody's prepared for. Yo, David, I have this theory. It ain't natural for any human being to be famous. I don't think it was meant for any one of us to be known all over the world. And fame, you see how it dealt, especially with boxers. We've seen it in the history of boxing. Even Errol Spence Jr. had to go through it when he wrecked his car. You know, you look at Adrian Broner. You even look at Floyd. Floyd's done really well at maintaining it, but everybody kind of goes through it. You know, do you think fame just like is as hard as, you know, like a drug? Do you think it's just as dangerous as a drug?
I think so, man. I think now I didn't really understand how big of a platform I was in. And then, you know, still at 20 years old, you're still trying to find yourself, man. I'm not as mature as I am now. 20 years old, you know, I was just kind of reckless, you know, just enjoying my money. Now I feel like I'm a little bit more down to earth because I've just had my son 5 months ago. You know, I have everything I want. I have to thank you. I have everything I want. I have a home. I have you know, my girlfriend, my beautiful son, my family, you know, so I don't need anything else, man. I'm that much closer to accomplishing my dream. And my dream is of being the best of my generation by the time I'm done with my boxing career.
I like that.
By the age of 19, Dave, how hard was it for you to get recognized by a promoter, like a top ranked promoter anyway? Like, was it hard for you to get to that point for them to even recognize you as a fighter, you know, coming after your brother and all of that, him being signed?
Definitely. Well, when I was 16 years old, I started my professional career. And by the time I was 18, I was already 10-0 with 9 knockouts. And I was kind of frustrated too, because I wasn't really getting recognition. Nobody wanted to sign me. But the one thing I would say that changed my career is I got invited to the Virgin Islands to spar Julius Jackson. Yeah. And he was getting ready to fight for a title himself. And, you know, I beat him up pretty good, you know, and at the time, you know, I was virtually unknown and he was about to fight for a world title. So his promoter basically put the good word in for me with his promoter. Say, you need to sign this kid because if you don't, it's going to be the biggest mistake of your life. And, you know, I met Samson Lukowicz. I fought with him. And then after that, you know, I signed also with PBC and Al Heyman, because Samson Lukowicz and Al Heyman works together. So, and then from there, it wasn't so much of the recognition, but it was fighting for your spot, because I was fighting against, you know, other contenders in my weight, and I was stopping one after another. So, you know, I didn't, you know, it wasn't just recognition. I went and I got my respect. That's really what it was.
Wow. I heard that Julius actually tapped out. Like, he had to stop fighting when you guys spar. Is that true?
I'll leave that up for that's between camps. But he's a really nice guy, man. He's a very good fighter. The thing about that is that once, like with me personally, once I go up against other great fighters, the best out of me comes out. So sometimes, you know, another animal might come out, because I know the other guys is just as dangerous to me. So I have to go to that next level. But we had some great sparrings, and honestly, I don't know where I'd be at if you take that training camp or take that sparring session out of the equation. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still would have been world champion. Would have taken me a little bit longer, but everything happened, you know, exactly what needed to happen. And, you know, I just feel blessed for the way things played out.
I respect that you said that's between camps. That was just a little test right there to see if you was going to snitch about y'all sparring session.
Nah, especially like with good people like that, man. I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, you know, especially when they treated me really good. They treated me like their brother or their cousin when I was in the Virgin Islands. I had never even been to the Virgin Islands, you know what I mean? So everything was love and everything was like family. Even to this day, that dude, you know, he's really cool, man. I like him a lot.
Was that your first paycheck as a pro? That sparring sessions? Those
no. My first paycheck as a sparring partner was against Gennady Golovkin.
Okay.
And I was 16 years old when I sparred Gennady Golovkin.
Did you feel his power, or it wasn't?
Oh,
He wasn't.
yeah, he definitely hits hard. But like I said, that's what I feel like. That's where I got all my experience at. Because with these types of dudes, especially like with me, I never wanted to get embarrassed, especially in front of my dad. My dad, he's a hard trainer, man. And if you do bad, he'll be the first one to tell you, oh yeah, you're just a fucking piece of shit. You should just retire. But sometimes that's what you need to motivate you to go to the next level. And I was never gonna let myself get beat up in front of my dad. But Golovkin, man, he made me think in different ways that I even to this day I use now, because you're worried about the left hook to the body, so you got to counter him with something upstairs, so you earn his respect. But we had some amazing sparring sessions, man. I sparred him when I first sparred him. I was 15 years old. That was before he made his U.S. debut. I was up here in Big Bear, and it was just like a great friendship since then. He recognized the talent I had. I recognized that I was in the ring with the freaking lion, and that I could learn so much from this guy. So I sparred him from 15 to 19. The last time I sparred him was with this camp against Daniel Jacobs.
With sparring, is sparring all out? When y'all do that, y'all go all out, or is this something that y'all, I thought sparring was something that you just work on a couple of things, see if you could work on this and work on that. How is it that y'all go all out, like in sparring, and you get to really feel
it's more pride. You know what I mean? If I hit you with a good shot, a hard shot, and I kind of rock you, what do you want to do? You're going to try to come back and rock me. You're going to try to rock me with a good shot too. You know what I mean? So it starts as work, but it ends up as a fucking like a real firefight. You know what I mean? But that's why people say that saying, iron sharpens iron. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, when you get in the fight, you get in a real fight, you're not gonna be like, oh, let me just work on this. You got to be ready for whatever comes your way.
How you get sparring partners? Nobody's coming in the gym to fight you anyway. How do you get sparring partners?
Well, now it was a little bit easier back then, but now I gotta pay them. You know what I mean? And I pay my sparring partners good, so that's how I keep them. I keep them pretty happy, because if you're hurting guys and they're doing it for free, they don't want to spar you no more. But if you give them a paycheck, they're like, I'll make this sacrifice. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, this I treat it like a job as well. I treat my sparring partners, at the end of the day, are my family, but they got families to feed too, so they got to get paid, and they got to go back and support their families.
Oh man, one of the things I like about you too is you don't hold your tongue. Like, you got a lot of great shit talkers in boxing, but the way you talk shit, man, is kind of ominous. It's like you talking it, but you gotta believe it. You know what I mean? Like, you got everything to back it up. It was upsetting for me to see you lose your title without ever losing the fight.
Yeah.
When that happened, man, how did you rectify that within yourself?
Well, this last time that happened, I think it was just, at the end of the day, I got to take full responsibility. But this COVID stuff, man, just messed everything up, especially going into that fight in August. Everything I really needed, to prepare for, saunas, steam rooms, treadmills, going to gyms. Everything was kind of closed up in Seattle. And then once I got to the bubble in Connecticut, you have to quarantine for 3 days in your room. And then when they allow you to leave, it's just downstairs to a treadmill. There's no saunas, there's no steam room, so kind of stuff that I needed access to. And it just kind of being a little just arrogant with the weight. I knew I was a little bit heavier than usual, but I thought, I'm going to be able to lose it still. And no, I just kind of turned around and bit me in the ass. Just not being prepared, just not being a professional, you know what I mean? But this time, that's why I came to camp. I've been in Big Bear for 3 months already. I've been away from my son. I missed his first Christmas, his first everything. But that's the type of stuff that you have to sacrifice, in order to make these changes, to better yourself as a man, as an athlete, and as a person, man. This kind of stuff has to be done. But the thing that about myself right now that I'm not really dwelling too much on my past mistakes, the thing I'm looking at it now is that, I'm working extremely hard. I know what's in front of me, and I know I can make it happen. I know I'm one of the best in super middleweight division. And, with the motivation of having my son, having my family, I feel like the sky's the limit for me, and I'm more of a professional now than I was back then.
What is your comfortable weight that you feel comfortable at? What's the comfortable weight? 168? You feel real comfortable at 168?
Yeah, 168. So earlier I had a pretty good run. I weighed 170 or 171. So that's 3 pounds away from weight. And I don't have my weigh in until next week, next Friday. So that's extremely close. I've never really been that close on weight, a week prior. But I mean, that just shows you how hard I've been working. But on off season, I'll probably be like 195. So like a 194, 194, like 25 pounds.
Damn, shit. Okay. So the day before the fight or the day before the weigh-in, you still may not be at weight.
Well, I mean, right now I'm 3 pounds away from weight. Okay,
so that's good for you. That's great for you, right? Okay, and that I always was curious when you have to drop so much weight, and this is my boxing inexperience, But I did play sports. I ran track, and I know when we fluctuated in weight, that it affected our strength. How do you regain your strength? When you're losing so much weight so rapidly, do you feel that in the ring, or does it in 24 hours you already regained it?
Well, I think in 24 hours, you'll feel definitely weak the day before the weigh-in or the day of the weigh-in. But, after you just try to drink a gallon of water, eat 3 times, and I mean, this always worked for me. I always felt amazing right after the weigh-in. But, you definitely have to drink a lot of water and, eat some good food. You can't go out. You have to eat certain foods too. You can't go out and eat steak. Or not steak. You can't drink soda or go eat McDonald's or any of that trash. You got to actually eat a salmon, some rice, and some pasta, man. You got to eat some good nutrients.
Some good nutrients. Listen to David. This kid was overweight for a long time. Now you sound like a health nut. Hey, man, I read that your father thought you were depressed when you were overweight, and that was the cause of it. Do you agree with that?
I've never heard that when you say that. No, it's just when you're overweight, obviously, everybody feels a little bit, they look at themselves and a little bit depressed. But back then, yeah, maybe, because I didn't know if I was going to be able to lose the weight. Because when you're a little kid, bro, you're 12 years old, you look at the scale, 260 pounds is a lot of weight. You don't know if you're going to be able to make it down all the way to 168, 170. So I could say I was a little bit depressed because of that. But it was never like severe depression and nothing. It was just disappointed in myself.
Disappointed in yourself, man. David Benavidez is joining us with Bridge Business. You got a fight coming up, and nobody's really talking about the opponent like that. Like Ronald Ellis, man. The dude has only lost one fight. You know what I mean? He got some experience under his belt. How much of a threat? I know anything can happen in the ring, but how concerned are you about this guy?
I treat Ronald Ellis like every other fighter. I prepared for him like if he was a world champion. I've been in camp for 3 months. I've been running 5, 6, 7 miles daily. I've been getting 15 rounds into sparring, 3 different sparring partners, so I worked extremely hard. So, I'm not really worried about what he could do. I'm not going to go in there, try to just run in and rush him and, not respect his power or his speed, because at the end of the day, I think he's been a professional longer than me.
Yeah.
So you got to respect that. You got to respect that everybody has a puncher's chance. But, I'm already, the type of fighter I am, 23 fights, 20 knockouts. I'm a heavy body shot puncher. I got great uppercuts, great jabs, great speed, and I'm faster than him. So I don't really see him too much of a threat, but I still got to go in there and be cautious. But I feel like I'm going to get him out of there before 6 rounds.
Is this fight like a tune-up fight for something big that's supposed to happen? Because I feel like you should be fighting, Plant and the rest of these guys that's out there, like, Saunders and Canelo. I feel like you're a hard hitter. You proved it. When you fought against Darrell, I thought you was battle tested. I think that was the test that showed that, like, yo, you know what? This kid is really built for this right here. Like, because I felt like they feel like you really never fought nobody. But after fighting the dog and you got into that dog fight with him and stopping him, I think that you got recognized.
Yeah. So the thing about that is, man, I'm trying to get the best fights as possible. I just turned 24 in December. And I've been professional 8 years. So I kind of want a little bit more excitement. I want to put myself to the test. And I've been calling out Caleb Plant. I've been calling out Canelo. I'll be calling out Charlo. But, I'm willing to make these fights happen. I was also supposed to, before Ronald Ellis, I was supposed to fight Jose Uzcategui. He didn't accept it. I was also supposed to fight Linnell Thompson, the guy that beat Uzcategui. He didn't accept either. So what am I supposed to do when nobody wants to fight? You know what I mean? Ronald Ellis was the only one who accepted the challenge. So I got to give him respect to that. You know, he's doing something not anybody else wants to do. But like, I'm willing to fight whoever. That's why I want to fight Charlo after this fight. I want to fight Caleb Plant. I want to fight Canelo. You know, I want the big names. I feel like, no, I deserve it. I deserve the big names because I've been here 8 years. I've proven myself. I've done stuff that, you know, not really too much other people in this weight division have done. I've proven myself. So I want the big names. But, you know, I feel like a lot of other fighters think that it's too much of a risk to take me on, especially right now. So, you know, I can't speak on their behalf and why the fights aren't happening. I'm willing to make whatever fight happen. So if it's not happening, it's because of Caleb Plant doesn't want to make the fight. Charlo don't want to make the fight. Canelo don't make the fight. You know, I have no control in that area right there.
I thought Charlo wanted to make the fight though.
Yeah, well, hopefully he does. Hopefully we can get it made after this fight. You know, Charlo is another great fighter too. You know, we've been going back and forth because it all started. I don't know if you've been keeping track of that or, you know, seeing that, you know, it all started because I was, he was going to ask, he said he was going to go to 168. Mm-hmm. And everybody who kept asking me, what do I think about a fight like that? You know what I mean? So, I said that it would be a good fight, you know, just because of the type of fighter he is, you know, and these other people kept, and then I did give me a second.
Okay.
I'm sorry, bro. It's making noise in the back.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was. I thought that was your Wi-Fi.
I don't know what they were doing either. I told them to keep it down. But and then Charlo said that he would snap my neck and he would knock me out, you know, in the first round. That he would knock me the fuck out. And I said, you know what? You say that you're gonna knock me the fuck out. You better be ready to see me in the ring. I'm not playing with nobody here. You know, better be willing to back it up. And then he says I have to be, you know, older than 25 years old. I have to be vaccinated. Now he don't want to come up to 168. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's just backpedaling and all this stuff he's saying. But if we could get that fight going on, I feel like that's a pay-per-view worthy fight. You know, that's definitely smells knockout for. You know, I feel like I can knock him out, and he feels like he can knock me out. So, you know, it'd be a great fight for the fans.
I feel like there's a couple of fights that'd be great for the fans. You know, you and Berlanga. I think that'd be a great fight at 168. I think, you know, you and you know, Charlo, of course, you know, but he's not going to come up to 168. I think, you know, he's going to stay at 160. I think him and Sebastian Fedora would be a good fight if they could catch up with a fight. Like, you know, that'd be a better fight for him than you. But I feel like in the state of boxing today, what do you think about the belts, as far as the interim belt and the franchise belt in those divisions? What do you think about those, making up these belts?
Well, let me answer the question that you have, or the thing you were talking about before. There's two Charlos. One of them has a 154, another one's at 160.
Yeah, Jamel and Jamal.
So, yeah, so he's the one. He said himself he's going to come up to 160. But as for the champions, I mean, I think everything was good with all the belts until they started making the interim, you know, the regular champion, super champion. You know, there's so much different belts right now, man, that doesn't really make no sense. I feel like all the sanctioning bodies have to be there, the WBC, the IBF, and the WBA and the WBO, because, man, those titles are like legendary. It's like taking away the Heisman Trophy or taking away, you know, the NFC or the AFC trophy, man. Those things have been there for such a long time, but I feel like they just have to take everything else away, like a interim, a super champion, regular champion. I think it just should be one world title for each sanctioned body.
Okay. You know, when I think about, like, you're going to get your day in court, so to speak. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to happen as long as you keep knocking people out. It's going to be inevitable. And I think of like people's legacy when you think of tandems like Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns. You think of Ali, you think of Frazier, right? You think of Floyd Mayweather, you think of Pacquiao. And these two, that tandem is going to go down in history. Who do you think that opponent is for you? Who do you think that?
I think there's a couple of them. I think Canelo, he's definitely is going to be, you know, one of the person that's going to bring myself out to motivate me to be the best of myself once that fight comes into play. And the other one I think is Berlanga. You know, I think because of how much there is at stake. I'm Mexican and he's Puerto Rican. You know what I mean? So the rivalry is already set in stone. You know, and then what makes it even more interesting is he has 17 knockouts. I have 20 knockouts. So we're just two big hitters right there. And that's what people want to see. Honestly, people want to see two dudes with high percentage, high percentage KOs, go at each other. And it just makes it better that he's Puerto Rican and I'm Mexican.
Man, I've never seen somebody so like accepting of the fact that I'm about to stand next to somebody who can knock me out, man. You don't fear that, like when you step in the ring. I mean, you don't fear being knocked out. Like, I wouldn't want to ever be knocked out.
I mean, I've never been knocked out and I've never been hurt in my whole 21 years of boxing. So, I mean, I kind of know what I'm dealing with. I kind of know what to do. But at the end of the day, man, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. If you're a warrior, you got to have no fear. And that's why I consider myself a modern day gladiator. I consider myself a warrior.
Like that.
When I'm in the ring, I push it to the limit because I believe in what I could do. I know what I could do. And I know I'm going to be the best. I know it's not going to be easy, but greatness doesn't come easy.
I like that. You like that, Horace? I'm loving your answers, man.
Man, greatness doesn't come easy.
Right.
So question for you is, so if you can't get Charlo, who would you you want plan after that? When do you become somebody's mandatory? When are you the next mandatory for somebody?
Well, I'm going to be the next mandatory after I beat Ronald Ellis. That's supposed to be a WBC title eliminator. So that's supposed to be mandatory for Canelo right after this. So, but just the things that I don't really know what's going on, man, with Canelo is just, he goes one other way. He fights the easier opponents because when I had the WBC title, bro, I never got a call from their side. I never, everybody else did. Everybody, they were trying to negotiate fights. Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Sanders, Callum Smith. Nobody ever, contacted us. But as soon as the title goes away, and I don't make weight, he requests to fight my mandatory. You know what I mean? So, he could have fought me. I don't know. I still don't understand why I wasn't the mandatory for that fight. I feel like the dude that had the belt, if he loses on the scale, he should still be the mandatory. And it was a bigger fight. Me and Canelo would have been a bigger fight than Canelo and Ildrum. I would have been ready, man. They just fought last week. I would have been ready. I'm already ready right now. So, I just don't know what's going on right there. But to be honest, whoever I got to go through, whoever I got to beat to be next in line for a title, I'll fight whoever. It doesn't matter to me.
Canelo pound for pound right now, him and T. Bud Crawford, two of my favorites. And I think had you not lost the title, you would be considered that as well. But what it sounds like to me is that you're implying that, and I've heard you talk about that, that Canelo is avoiding you. Is that what you believe in your heart of hearts?
I try not to say he's avoiding me because I know fighters don't avoid fighters. But when it starts happening over and over again, I don't get a call, nobody's trying to negotiate with me, or he goes and fights my mandatory instead of fighting me. So I just got to see how the next step plays out. If when I win the WBC, title eliminator and I don't get a fight with Canelo, when I'm the mandatory, then that's when I'll say he's avoiding me. I don't want to say it yet, but that's what it kind of looks like it's shaping out to be. But I feel like anybody who doesn't fight me now are more in trouble if they wait longer because I'm getting more experience. I'm not even in my prime yet. I just turned 24 years old, but I feel like I'm getting that much closer to my man strength. I'm already powerful as it is, so I can't imagine how I'm going to feel when I'm in my prime. So next year I'm going to be 25. The year after that I'm going to be 26. So I'm getting that much closer to my prime. So, if they're in trouble, if they already feel like they're in trouble now, I don't know. I don't even know what to expect in 2 years. They're going to be in so much danger.
My heart is really telling me Canelo's gonna retire with the belts. He ain't gonna fight you, man. I believe that Canelo gonna get the belt and he gonna leave with that one loss with Mayweather and he gonna retire out gracefully. I don't really think that he's gonna fight you. I think the fight that everybody's gonna want to see is with you and Berlanga and everybody, the Canelo and whoever's upcoming rise. I think those are gonna be the fights. I think Canelo's gonna get the belt and he's gonna retire. He's gonna get out the picture.
Yeah, and also too, if the fight with Canelo happens, great. If it doesn't happen, it's whatever. Okay. I feel like there's a lot of other good fighters to make happen, and I gotta pave my own way. I don't want to feel like that fighter that this guy's just desperate to fight Canelo, because I'm really not desperate to fight Canelo. I got time on my side. I got at least 12 years left in this boxing game. 10 or 12 years. So, and I feel like I give the type of style I have. I'm a fan-friendly fighter. I give knockouts. I'm a pressure fighter. Well, that's what they want to see, and it'll be a good fight with me and whoever the top guys are. So I'm not desperate or nothing. the thing I am desperate about is I want to show the fighters who the best really is. And I feel like that is me.
Hey, what's the most punches you thrown in the combination?
Well, the ones that landed the cleanest was that knockout. But I do stuff like that regularly in the gym. This last time in the gym, I did a combination that was 20 punches. No bullshit, 20 punches.
Fuck out of here, Dave. Come on, man.
Yeah.
20 punches?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to invite you to one of my sparrings later, so you have to see it to believe it, bro. You have to see it.
Hey, I got to take you back to this real. You never got hurt in no fight, like you never got dinged, dazed, nothing. Like...
I got knocked down one time, but it was if you take it back, you look at it, it's more of an off balance knockdown. When I fought Ronald Ellis the first time, I mean, you could judge it on your own. But as from that, no, never been rocked, never been hurt, nothing like that.
You sound bored with the competition to me, man.
That's why, man. That's why I just want to make the best fights possible, man. Like if you've been professional 8 years already, man, fuck. I've just been fighting guys. I've been stopping them, yes, of course, but I want to get that fight where sometimes I don't know if I'm going to win or not, so I could bring the best out in me. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you get a competition in front of you that is paired up, like the talent wise is paired up.
Yeah.
There's a certain aspect that comes out of like just greatness, man. Greatness. If you've been preparing yourself for your whole life for that, something just comes out of you, man, that you really can't explain.
Your brother, man, I got a lot of respect for your brother, man. I remember watching him fight Crawford and thinking early on in the fight, oh, wow, considering all this man that has gone through with the, being shot in the knees, damn, he was hanging. I thought he was doing, I could see like how great of a boxer he is, man. What is his status now when it comes to boxing?
Well, with him, I feel like he took that loss pretty hard. It was a really big fight. And I think if you just that one shot, man, I think he just kind of messed up his confidence a little bit because he was doing great until that last, that last shot. And that's the thing about boxing, man. You have to be extremely prepared for those last shots in those last 10 seconds, 20 seconds. But as of right now, man, I've been sparring him. I was sparring him in Washington, and he just had a baby as well. He just had a daughter. So I feel like he's just enjoying, just being a father, because before he was a professional, he had 200 amateur fights. He had like 15 national titles. So, I mean, he did, from transitioning to the amateurs all the way to the professionals, it's a long career. He probably has 25 years boxing or more, or something like that. So I feel like sometimes you just get burned out. But he's enjoying his time with his daughter right now. But I'm gonna bring him up to camp with me my next fight, so maybe he could get some more fights going in the future. You know what? We love to bring Bridge Business to the camp too. Horse and I'll come in. I mean, we could throw some gloves on too, man. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. If you would be able to do it after all this COVID is over, I would love for you guys to see some of my sparring, because a lot of people don't believe me when I say I land these 15 punch combination until they see it. Then, this is bad motherfucker right here. I thought he was bullshitting, but I really this stuff I'm telling you, I really do it. And it's and then just so you could see another. I appreciate the love and support you guys give me. So I would love to let you guys see one of my sparring sessions in the future. Oh man, come on, man. Dudes like us, bro. We'll be. We used to go to Sean Porter's sparring sessions when he would be in Brooklyn, him and his dad, Kenny, and we just like being like flies on the wall, man, like just absorbing all of that, bro. It's go ahead. And sometimes with sparring too, I feel like there's less pressure in the sparring session. So, sometimes you do even better, because you're just in there having fun. You're just in there trying different stuff, and there's not that much people in there. So sometimes some sparring sessions will be, just as good as fights, or probably even better. Hey, do you have your sights on anybody in the light heavyweight division? Yeah, definitely. I would love to fight Badu Jack. I would love to fight John Pascal and Zurdo Ramirez and Dimitri Bivol. Yeah, so I mean, there's there's a lot of that's what I'm saying. Like if the fight with Canelo don't happen, I'm not desperate to fight him. I want to show the people I'm the best, and because I know I can beat him, but aside from him, Canelo's not the only fighter in boxing that would be some great fights. There's so much other fights. There's Callum Smith, there's Billy Joe Sanders, there's Caleb Plant, there's Charlo, there's Surdo Ramirez, there's freaking Dimitri Bivol,
Yeah.
John Pascal. Me and Badu Jack would be a great fight too. You know what I mean? Me and him, you know, he's a warrior, I'm a warrior. So there's a lot of, I just named you like 8 great fights right there. So I mean, so there's a lot of good fights for to make happen for myself.
Why aren't these fights taking place? Why aren't the promoters when you want to fight somebody, do you go to your trainer, your promoter, and say, hey, I want this guy, and they make sense? Is that how it go, or they say, oh, it's too dangerous?
Well, I mean, sometimes the thing that holds everything back is the companies, because like say a lot of these companies, they want to keep the money for themselves. You know, there's very rare that, you know, they'll do a 50-50, you know, like if it's PBC with Dazn or PBC with Top Rank, you know, sometimes the promoters, and they get greedy. They want to do like it's just like how the fighters are, you know, some fighters say 60-40, you know, sometimes the promotion companies, you know, they don't see eye to eye and they don't come to an agreement. But as of late, I've been seeing promoters working with each other better. You know, like you see Oscar De La Hoya and Dazn, you see Top Rank in the PBC when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
So I feel like the promotion companies realize that, you know, this is the best way to conduct business and to even to elevate the world of boxing even more to like how it was back then, that everybody has to work with each other.
Mm-hmm. And the best fought the best. That's what it was. Yeah. The best fought the best.
Exactly.
Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm gonna take a sip out of my Bridge Business coffee mug. That's new, but by the way, David, I saw you got the Benavidez hats that you giving away on your Instagram. What's up with that, man?
Yeah, definitely send me an address that you want me to send it to. I got both of you guys. I'll send you guys both hats.
I like seeing that because, you know, just hearing your story and knowing a lot about your family's story and the ups and downs y'all went through, especially dealing with fame. And as you said, being 20 years old, making 6 figures, that ain't normal. You know, you probably can't name one person in your peer group that was doing that, you know, in your family, in your neighborhood, right?
And then like you go from it, like the transition from, you know, I fought 8 fights in Mexico, 7 fights, and I didn't get $1. And then it went from 10,000, 20,000. You know, but before I knew I was making $400,000. I'm like, damn, I don't even know what to do with all this money, man. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's crazy. And then sometimes, you know, you go crazy with the money. Like honestly, sometimes money just it makes you go crazy. But now I feel like the best teacher in life is experience. Mm-hmm. You know, if you could put a hold on it, you have experience, you know your mistakes, and you know what route to take. You know, that's the best teacher in life.
What you learn about money, this Bridge Business. So we like to talk about the business aspect. Since then, what you learn?
The most important thing about money is you got to pay your taxes. And you know, the thing I'm happy about right now is I just opened the S Corp, you know, not too long ago. So that is for the boxers that didn't know, you know, like I didn't know either. You know, you got to educate yourself too. So with the S Corp, you basically make a company, you make an LLC, and you put money in there, and you pay yourself, you know, a wage or whatever you want to pay yourself. Say I make $300,000. If I pay myself from the company, I pay myself $150. You know, I only got to pay 20% in tax, and the other $150 that stays in my S Corp, I don't have to pay any taxes on that. So, you know, would you rather pay 37% on 300,000 or 20% on 150? You know, it just common knowledge right there, and that's just stuff people don't know, man. And honestly, you can make a whole bunch of money, bro, and then these taxes will come back and get you, especially if you don't pay them, man. These taxes, the IRS don't play. So, I mean, I feel like that's the one thing about money now that put a hold on it now is making sure to pay my taxes and, you know, giving the IRS their part first before I go and spend money on myself.
I love that. That's dope.
So are you promoting your own fights now too, being a Team Benavidez? Are y'all promoting fights now too? Are you promoting?
Well, my dad, he has a couple fighters, but me, as of right now, I feel like I'm still under Samson Lukowicz and Al Heyman, you know, so I really don't have time to be, you know, have fighters and promote fighters. Maybe later in my career, but as of right now, I just gotta focus on my own career first.
Mm-hmm.
You keep naming the promoters, people you're with now, but it's a lot of boxers that's going to be watching this, and they're going to get a lot of doors closed in their face before they start getting the recognition they may deserve. They got to earn it. How many promoters turned you down coming up in your career?
A lot of them, all the big ones. Before I even got an opportunity, Top Rank, Golden Boy, Eddie Hearn, and yeah, man, it was hard. I was like, fuck, I just want the opportunity, bro, to show myself. And then sometimes you got to take, the thing about it is that when somebody doesn't believe in you, sometimes you got to take the little money just to show, just to show what you could do. And then you start negotiating, then the prices start going up. But, at first time, I didn't have my first fight was $10,000. And, you got to split that with your team, but it's just the opportunity, man. It's just the opportunity that you just do, you got to do as best as you can and show out. And then, the demand starts going up, and then your prices start going up.
Do you think if social media was out back then, you would have got on you would have got promoters coming at you with more money if the social media was as big as it is today?
No, I don't think so. I think it was the same. It would have been the same. I mean, social media, man, there's a lot of great fighters that look great on social media, and they kind of get into their own head. They kind of let their head get inflated, and then they don't look how they're supposed to look at their fights. So, I mean, social media is either good or bad, you know what I mean? But for me, I didn't really have a big following. I mean, I have an okay following now on social media, but I think in my fights alone and my performances just speak for itself.
Man, you got 131,000 followers on Instagram. That's a big following. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And me and Horace, me and Horace were talking about this Teofimo and this deal that's floating out there. I don't know all the details, Horace, but what was it with?
Well, I think that they did like a bidding war, and I think Eddie Hearn and them won the bidding war because I think Top Rank was offering Teofimo, I think like 1.5 or something like that to fight. And I think after he did the deal with Triller, I think that he came away, if it goes through the way it's supposed to go through, I think he'll come off with like 4 million or 3.5 million. So he doubled what Top Rank was giving him, if I'm correct.
Is that the way of the future, you think?
I mean, there's two parts about that, man. It's good that he went and got that money, but he still has to go back to Top Rank. And then Top Rank is not going to like that. They're probably going to try to sit him down, or their lawsuits. That's when the lawsuits come out. You can't do nothing, and lawsuits could last up to 3-4 years. And you've seen what happened with Mikey Garcia and Top Rank back then. Mikey Garcia was sitting out for like 3 years. And if you sit out so long, you can't fight, the sanctioned bodies, they're going to want to take those titles away, because if you sit out for so long, God willing, that doesn't happen to Teofimo. And I like Teofimo as a great fighter, but, there's a big mess behind that, and I wouldn't want to be in his position. Yeah, he's getting a good money, but, at the end of the day, he still has a contract with Top Rank.
Are you as frustrated as the boxing fans are? Because I know you're a boxing fan too. I know you grew up studying the great fights and the great fighters. I know you're a Roy Jones fan too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So when you see, like, we all want to see Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford fight. Do boxers get frustrated too when those fights don't happen, or because what goes on behind the scenes, it don't really?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. It's just that. Like, I felt like I want to see that fight too, bro. I mean, that's a great fight, and that's a great fight that you're taking away from boxing history. You know what I mean? And I feel like both fighters, they should just do a 50-50, or the best, or the winner takes the bonus. I think it should be 40-40 and the winner takes 20. You know what I mean? So, but like, you see fights like that not happening. And then you see, honestly, I don't think Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia is ever going to happen either.
Yeah.
Or Ryan Garcia, Teofimo. I think the fight that's most likely to happen is Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, because they're in the same promotion company. But man, there's a lot of great fights that aren't being made, or like when they are made, it's just way too late. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to Floyd or Pacquiao, but that fight, I think it came, years and years later than when it should have happened. But yeah, you do get frustrated when you don't see the fights happening that you want to see, because at the end of the day, we just want to see some great fights. This is why we got in the business, to see great fights and make great fights happen.
I appreciate a strategist though. Let's talk about Floyd, for example. People claim that Floyd waited that long on purpose, so maybe Manny could slow down a bit, because Manny was a beast. Manny was moving up in divisions and knocking motherfuckers out everywhere he went, right? Yeah. And they say he caught him at the right time in his life, in his career. They also say that Floyd caught Canelo early at the right time, because of his inexperience at that time. I think we all agree that even Canelo may agree that he became a better fighter after fighting Floyd. His defense just kind of improved tremendously to me. Do you have respect for that as a strategist, as a boxer, though? This is self-preservation. I want to prolong my career. I want to hit and not be hit,
I think so. I mean, obviously, if it's very obvious that Floyd Mayweather is one of the greatest thinkers in boxing ever, and that, the strategy he made is by, that's the reason why he probably waited so longer. It could have went either way. Pacquiao could have preserved himself, and he could have made Mayweather look like that. But I don't. To be honest, man, I think Mayweather's Mayweather. I don't think anybody would ever beat him at all, even if it was too early or too late or in the right time of the career. I think Mayweather's just Mayweather, and he's just a beast. But people are always going to try to taint Mayweather's reputation and his career. There's always something behind one of his victories. He waited so long. The judges, this and that. There's always something. But you got to just respect Mayweather, man. I don't think there'll ever be a boxer like him. A thinker, a defensive fighter, an offensive fighter. He was just one of the best, and he was very fun to watch.
I agree with that, Horse.
Mm-hmm.
But but this is the only thing I got to say now, though. I don't know about that fight with Logan Paul and Mayweather. I really don't want to watch this.
Oh no!
I'll watch it, but I don't really want to watch it.
Do you think he's in danger at all?
I don't think so, man. I mean, no disrespect to Logan Paul, but he doesn't really know too much about boxing. But I'm just confused in how that's gonna play out. Like Logan Paul weighs like 200 and something pounds. What are they gonna weigh in at, or what is gonna go on? How much rounds is it gonna go on? There's still a whole lot of questions about that fight, and I thought it was supposed to happen in February. What happened with that?
There wasn't enough hype behind it.
Oh, but yeah, man. To be honest, I don't think Mayweather's in any danger at all. But it is boxing. When you get a big dude like that fighting against a smaller guy, anything could happen.
So this fight that we're about to see with you, is this going to be another knockout? Are we expecting another knockout?
Oh yeah, definitely. The way I box and the way I want my career to go. I got to get these knockouts, and I've been hurting a lot of people in sparring, and I feel more satisfied when I stop somebody or I make them quit. I'd get more satisfaction like that than to winning a fight, by decision.
Ronald Ellis, he's a tall fighter. He's a little shorter than you, but y'all got the same reach. He has some experience. He's only lost once, but you going in there to knock him out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going in there to inflict as much damage as possible. But that's just my mindset towards every fighter. That's just the type of fighter I am. I want my respect, and I want to go in there. And when I leave the fight, it's more satisfying that these people, they can't say nothing. Because if you go into a decision, some people I won a couple rounds, that the judges stole my card. When he leaves the fight, I want him to say, I just couldn't fuck with David Benavidez. That dude is a beast.
So
that's what's going to happen.
Hey, Dave, so you have no friends in boxing? There's no friends in boxing?
Nah, not really, bro. Especially my weight class. No, I got my friend that I train with, on my team, but that's my only friend. Everybody else is strictly business, and I'm coming to knock everybody out and stop everybody.
Like that. He says that with no hesitation, man. The way you say knock people out is like it's second nature for you, man. Jeez, man. Congratulations on your baby, man. How does it feel being a father? What are the challenges? What's harder, being a father or being in that ring?
It's amazing, man. Honestly, I don't have enough experience as a father to say.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. It's amazing, man. Just to see my boy, from the first day he was born all the way up to now, how much he's growing, how much he's progressing, how much he's thinking. I've already taught him how to throw 1-2, you know what I mean? So I feel like I'm excited just to see where he goes. And if he takes that route and he carries my name and my legacy, I'll be a very proud father. But whatever he wants to do, man, I'm here and I'm going to give him the best of whatever he needs. If he wants to go to college, he wants to be a boxer, I'm here to, to give him my wisdom and be the best father I could possibly be.
I love it, man. Hey, man, I could talk to you all night. I don't want to hold you, though, man. But I really appreciate you being a guest on Bridge Business, man. Let's give this man a round of applause, man.
Thank you, guys.
David Benavidez. Looking forward to the fight.
When you become champ, bring them belts back over here, man, so we can see them in Briggs Business too, man. When you get them belts, man.
And if you guys can send me or like an address, you want me to send you something when I get back to Washington, I got all my merch and stuff. I'll send you guys something.
Okay, and if people want to get your merch, and if folks who tuned in want to get your merch, how can they get your merch?
Well, I'd actually stopped selling it. I don't sell it no more, but I'm when I get back on it, you know, because the COVID messed everything up and it was just slowing things down for me. So when I decide to sell merch again, you know, I'll be posting on my Instagram on Benavidez 300. But with you guys, man, it's gonna be some limited stuff. So, you know, I hope you guys like it.
All right, well, we got your info, and I'll follow you already, so I'll DM you too. You be checking your DMs?
Sure. Yeah, sometimes, just a lot of them sometimes. But yeah, I'll definitely, if you DM me, and I'll give you guys a follow back. I didn't know that. I didn't know Sway was following, man.
Come on, man.
Excited. I'm gonna call my mom right now.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. We've been talking to boxers for years, bro. Like, boxing is second nature to us. You know what I mean? And you know, I done had everybody up there from on Sway in the Morning, from Floyd to Broner, Mickey Ward. You know what I mean? Like everybody, legends, been Lennox Lewis. We've had them all. Antonio Tarver's a friend. You know, so we respect the sweet science, bro. And I think you're a tremendous boxer. And I've told folks you're like my favorite boxer. You and Terrence Crawford are like two of my favorite boxers. And I look forward to it. You're going to get that belt back, bro. You're going to become unified. Ain't nobody going to stop you, man. I got that faith in you, all right? And I would love to see that Canelo fight happen. Woo! Come on, man. Salute to you, brother.
All right.